Let's start the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mary, I think you know everyone, but you haven't been to a meeting for a while. So why don't you just give us a little update on everything on your life? Unmute.
Can't hear you. Can't
Mary,
hear you.
unmute.
Sorry, I was blowing my nose and I didn't want you
Oh,
to all hear
sorry.
that.
I didn't mean to.
Thank you for reminding me. It's
Thank
true. I
you.
haven't been to a meeting for a very long time, and I just keep popping in and popping out. But my heart is always connected to all of you, collectively and individually, really. And today, hi Cheryl. Today with the or yesterday with the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize, I said, this is just such a travesty in terms of our history as WILF members. It's well, I just looked at my background, which is a constant background that I always have. It says "Nuestras armas son las ideas," and it's from Cuba. It was a sign that was posted over a repair shop for a mechanical repair shop. And I took it because I thought it was so perfect. It means our armaments are our ideas, right? And that to me says everything about disarmament. If we are to disarm in the traditional sense, we still have to struggle, but what is the nexus of our struggle? It's our ideas, right? And to me, yesterday's awarding of that prize to that woman basically said, we're closing off the conversation about ideas. That's it. We are siding with those people. We are siding with a capitalist regime. We will not consider anything else. We won't consider anybody else who's attempting to do something else. And we are siding with a woman who has sided with Trump. And it's such a statement of obliteration of the whole notion of an exchange of ideas, which is the pathway to true and lasting peace. So to me, people are saying, well, maybe, we shouldn't do it from international because they're in the Netherlands and they have this relationship. That's fine. It has to begin somewhere. And I think it has to begin with us. It has to begin with those of us who recognize this act, which is just such an abandonment of the kind of dialogue and exchange of ideas and struggle that might one day lead us to true peace. So I think we have to register a formal objection.
Formal exemption.
Well, however you do it. I mean, we need to make a statement, and we need to make a strong statement that we repudiate this as daughters of Jane Addams, who received this prize. Who founded us.
Good idea.
In Chicago.
Here.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I said that in the notes, and I agree with you, Mary. I thought this was introducing you, though, and you got right into the topic. You're
That's
going to
okay.
warm us up.
Well, that's who I am.
Well, that's good. Okay, so we are going to get into this right away, Cheryl. We decided that this is the topic we need to do. But before we do that, just a vibes watcher and a timekeeper. We need that. I believe Shiley will continue taking the minutes. Right, Cheryl?
Really?
Yeah.
She's in Madrid.
She is, but she owes us hours. She did not finish all the hours.
Thank God she owes us hours.
I know.
You will listen to the recording.
I'll be the timekeeper.
Okay, great.
I'll be the vibes watcher.
Okay, great.
Who was that, Robin?
Yes.
Robin will be vibes and Eileen timer. Okay, so yeah, she'll do this. I think we can take her through December. So we don't have to get a note person every time. I think that'll be wonderful. I told her that's one of the jobs that she can do. So that's good. Okay. So then the other thing is changing the agenda. And so we have two changes, and one is Eileen's, that she wants to have 5 minutes to talk about laws. And then we're going to talk about this right away, this letter, because I think it's important. I think Disarm should get something out right away. Because if we start going with national WILF and then international, it takes time. But I mean, that's just my opinion right off. But okay, so are there any other changes to the agenda?
Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Oh.
I see it up there. Mhm. And the AI companion is with us.
And there's Ellen, she came in. So, and Peggy Dobbins is here too. So great. Okay, so I think that there are no other changes to the agenda. I think that those two are significant.
Where are you going to put the
Letter
letter?
now.
In 4?
Hot topics. It's certainly a hot topic. So
Okay.
first, but we first of all, we have to approve the last meeting's minutes. And were there any objections or edits or anything?
I did not receive any
Changes?
changes, and Shiley had listened to the recording, which is actually a very good way of doing minutes. And she looks at the transcript and everything, which is, of course, what the AI companion is looking at our words. That's how it comes up with its summary. Okay, so
Right.
we take them as
As approved, as
Approved.
last distributed. Yeah, distributed. So great. Okay, so now we can get into the hot topic of the letter. And who wants to speak about it? Mary spoke a little. Who else wants to say something?
so just understand. Mary was introducing herself and chose
Right.
to talk about. Okay.
Yeah, we got into the
She was
letter.
a brand new person.
No,
Yeah.
Well,
not
she's
brand
not brand
The
new.
only
new.
thing I
To
would like to
Disarm.
say about the letter
brand
is
new.
the Norwegian are pretty special to us in granting WILF money. And I just
Not
think we should
anymore.
be always, well, not anymore because of, well, I think it's because Trump insisted that the NATO countries have to give at least 5% of their monies to military development. But that means that we don't get the extras to develop Africa or any other area. Having said that, though, we want to keep friends with them. I know that the folks that make the decisions depend on a lot of extra good specialists, renowned people from all over the world in making the decision. It was one of my studies when I was reviewing the Emily Green Balch wins. She qualified all over the place. I mean, she was a winner on 3, 4 counts. And unlike most, including Jane Addams. All I'm trying to say is that as long as we word it respectfully, I think we do have to point this out.
About
That
the
this
wording.
woman Machado is not a good qualifier for being a peace advocate. If anything, it's the opposite. She's more for conflict.
Well, lots of people are writing about it.
Yeah. So,
I
Anne?
think,
And do we really know that that's true? You know, the people are slinging accusations back and forth. Do you know that that's true?
Do we know if Machado, being from the elite of Venezuela, that
Yeah,
she-
which ones are you worried about, Ellen?
Well, Machado, I mean, I'm just thinking before we write a letter saying that she's bad, we need to know for sure that she's bad.
well, we looked at her record. It's been
Where did you look at her record? Who provided it?
at least 3 different papers. I don't have them written in my head though. Anybody else?
So Well,
Alliance for Global Justice had a analysis of her. I think that's where I read it today.
and David Swanson did a very damning one. David Swanson, the executive director of World Beyond War, but he actually, interestingly, didn't. Well, I think he may have published on World Beyond War, but it was published through the No to NATO website and group. Okay,
Oh,
and I
No
think
Beyond
you'll
War.
find that UNAC didn't like it either. So, I usually pick up the BBC stuff, and they, they'll say she's a very conservative person, and then the question is what attitude and what has she done in Venezuela, and it's the many things that we don't agree with. So, but I think first we have to decide who we're writing the letter to. Laura always tells us we should know our audience first. I mean, are we making this a statement that we'll send to a few newspapers? We're writing to the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. There were 5 people. I saw them interviewed actually on the BBC the day before the announcement. They were, they take their time. Somebody, we should not accuse them of bribery or anything like that. They're very, very upstanding Norwegian people. But the fact that we don't like the outcome, and with our history of Jane Addams and Emily Balch Green, yes, I think those are the points, because a lot of other people have made a lot of other points. But that's, I think, what we should hang anything we write on is our history with the Peace Prize.
Mhm. Mary has a comment.
Well,
Go ahead.
Okay, I think in addition to reading other people's position statements, we also have to look at our own network. I mean, I, for one, have worked very closely with a Venezuelan woman in my work with the International Alliance of Inhabitants. She is on the ground there. She's an on the ground organizer, locally and involved internationally in this international organization. And she certainly recognizes the distrust that many people have about the revolutionary process in Venezuela. And it certainly has been bumpy. I mean, the present guy is not a saint, but we're not talking about individuals here. We're talking about movements. We're talking about movements of people who are organizing around their basic human needs. And what Machado has done has been to propose not only to ally herself with all of those people like Trump who are moving in the direction of total control over every aspect of governance, and has completely repudiated any opportunity that the people will have to implement their desires and their plans. I mean, one of her main pillars is privatization of the oil industry. If you privatize the oil industry, you have removed any opportunity for people to implement their plans to provide housing for all, to provide food for all, to provide medicine for all. You also further rupture any possibility that they have as part of a revolutionary movement that is still moving across the Southern Hemisphere. So, to me, I'm proud that and pleased that other people are standing up, but we can stand up without reference to any of those. We can stand up on the basis of what we know for certain. At least some of the groups, progressive groups in Venezuela, are doing, and some of us have personal relationships there. I mean, one of the things that I thought was so moving was several years ago. Um, People from all over Venezuela uh, presented to the governing body their letters congratulating the governing body for housing them because they did not have housing prior to this regime, you know? So, yes, I think we need to stand in league with other organizations from our special place as daughters of these two previous winners, but also to rely on what we know from our personal interactions with the people of Venezuela.
Wonderful.
Thank
Could
you.
you
I
write
just
a
want
letter?
people to know that I am going to be raising balloons when our time is getting short, which means shorten your words.
Oh, it's timekeeper.
Okay.
So-
I just wanted to say, I'm not too worried about Norway. I don't think we should be personally, because I think international can deal with it their way. But that's just me. I think we don't have to be too worried about it. But Ben Norton had a great presentation. I think it was almost half an hour long. He went in depth about this. And then I thought it was actually one of the Nobel deciders wrote a letter saying how he protested it. Now I haven't found I mean, I just, I haven't found that letter that I can go since this call started, but I there's a lot out there. I suggest everyone watch the Ben Norton thing because it's very factual, I think. And we wanted, and the code pink, I didn't sign the Code Pink petition because it was a little strongly worded for me. And I don't, and actually, they wanted the journalist, the Gaza journalist, to get the award. I was thinking, what was it? What's her name? The rapporteur.
Right.
What's her name that we suggested? I thought,
Albanese.
yeah, yeah. Her first, anyway, yeah. I mean, that's who I thought should get it. And I
Yeah.
think there's this thing going on where they don't. This is so off of what we should be really concentrating on. You know, we shouldn't be going into Venezuela and all that. We should be. I think Gaza is what should have been. But I mean, that's a hot topic. But yeah, I think there's a lot saying that she is she wanted to privatize, that she has helped with the sanctions that has killed so many people, that she
Right.
has actually was it helped with the coup attempt, and actually Hugo Chavez was out of power for a while and he got back in because the people wanted him. So I think there's a lot. She has a whole history of being for money and not for the people.
Mhm.
So anyway, go ahead, Cheryl.
So yes, so I think you all saw Darian's letter. Darian has some personal connection. She was there 2019 for those the elections. She was an observer. I remember when she came back and told us about it and how it differed from what you were reading in the main media. So I'm not a very good writer. I've got plenty of other things I'm trying to finish writing for you all. And so, I'm going to be, I hope, in DC next week lobbying. So we need somebody else. I think what we need is someone to step up and say they will at least make a first draft of this. And I think Mary Bricker Jenkins, you seem to have quite a lot of things in your head and you've written some stuff down, Mary. Do you think you could give us a first draft? And to whom would you like such a letter to go to? Who do you think this letter should go to?
Well,
Unless somebody else wants to put their hand up and offer to do it right now.
yeah, I'm looking. I really don't know who it should go to. I do think we should talk with the another WILF body, and that is the Cuban Bolivarian Alliance. The reason it's called the Bolivarian Alliance and not just Cuba is that it was clear that there were other motions around the world, and particularly in Venezuela, that were attempting the same kind of thing that Cuba was doing and in league with them. So Venezuela is part of the Bolivarian Alliance. So I think we should talk with them.
I think did Lenny not send something?
Yes, she did.
It
Oh, good.
depends
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you have to be on the appropriate email list to see some of this. So what did Lenny say, Diane? Do you remember? Is it-
Ugh, just supporting this kind of thing, that she's pretty horrible. I think she had a link to something. Again, I'd have to go back because there was so much. I was getting a lot of stuff from other organizations, not
Mhm.
just WILF. So
Right.
the Green Party particularly has been very active about it, and so everything's kind of a blur. But anyway, yeah, she did write about something.
Mhm. So what we have the situation where our executive director is on vacation right now in Geneva. She told us last Wednesday she was leaving on Thursday.
Hmm.
She mentioned a week, which is, it's nearly done. And she did, they've just started this peace is not campaign.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that she had sent some, I don't think she called it a press release, but she'd sent something out to some media telling them about this campaign. So, one could argue that a statement should come out of that our executive director is one person who could be responsible for it, but she's not around. And so I think that, our committee, as people have said, should try to do something. So I've suggested Mary might start us off. A lot
Well,
of us do well with somebody sends us something, then we can really talk about it.
yeah. Well, I sent out what I sent out, which was very visceral, but very heartfelt. But let's try this. So you have my visceral response, and if everybody would just send her points to me at brickerjenkins@gmail.com, which I can put in the chat. And I will sift through those and I will reach out to Lenny and see if the two of us can't come up with something quick. That's really ours. That's a WILF statement. And it doesn't
Right.
have to be long.
Right. So
To me, the most important thing is that that in awarding this, they have cut off the conversation. They've stopped it. Peace comes through conversation. It comes through dialogue. And they have shut off that dialogue by taking the position that they have on one side of the dialogue. So I'm going to put this in
I
my.
think that's a lovely sentiment to focus on, as we are a peace and freedom organization. This committee, is dedicated to ending wars, getting countries to disarm, but ending wars is part of our name. And so I think some of this indeed could be used. I'm still trying to find out from you all, who do you think we should send this to? I mean, we can send, we can try send it to the New York Times, we can try sending it to the Washington Post, we can, send it to the major media.
I
They
think it
did.
has to be addressed to the committee.
Me too.
All right, you
Yeah.
think it should go to the committee, but we
Yeah.
should CC other people, right? You
Yes,
don't.
right.
You let the world know that you've sent this to the committee.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So is everybody agreed with that they're the main recipient? Peggy, you're muted.
Go ahead, Peggy. Wait, you're muted, Peggy, still?
It's been over 15 minutes just on this topic.
Right. Well,
I know. Sorry, but this is the most important thing, I think almost.
It's the
Peggy,
most
go ahead.
timely. It's the most
Well,
timely, right.
I feel really, really so passionate about it that I'm really not going to say too much, except that I did join WILF because WILF's historic reputation is devoted to preventing war. And I really see this as a build up to justify launching a war against Venezuela. And I
That's
don't know
right.
if that goes into the
Good
letter
point.
at all, but that's
Yes.
just, that's the
Yeah,
way I
it
feel.
should
And
go- it
I'm
should
so
go in the
glad
letter.
Mary is going to do this.
Exactly. I mean, we're already kind of going to war with them, and this will
Yeah.
just accelerate it, I think.
An illegal war.
So thank
Mary-
you, Mary. And yes, I think addressing it to the committee, and yes, and then to publicize that wealth and as deep into our history as we can go, to say that. Oh, and I do think it would be good if we could get the international to do something also, but
Right.
I'm really glad that we're going to go ahead and do something.
Oh, yeah, it needs to be sent to national, international, but I think we should do it. Okay, Odile?
I just wanted to say I am here. Thank you.
We so, yes,
Hi,
and Mary,
Odile.
Glad
Mary
you're here.
White has joined us.
Bonsoir.
Oh, yeah, hi, and yeah, Mary and Odile just joined us. Great. So Mary Bricker Jenkins, is your email address mbricker@temple.edu still?
Oh, that,
No,
well,
no.
that's one. I just put one, the other one that I do
Oh.
more often now is brickerjenkins@gmail.com, and I put it in the post. But you can send it to either. I'll monitor both, and you don't have to do anything fancy. Just blast me your ideas, you know?
Okay.
And I will get hold of Lenny, and the two of us will produce a draft that we will send to you.
Great.
I have to do a quick, possibly a correction, but I don't think so. Gloria pointed out that Sweden has been often named as the biggest benefactor or a big benefactor. I think they're both benefactors to Wilf.
Right. Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
war.
The governments of those
I'm
two.
sorry, in the past, you're right.
Mhm. And that's why Wolf International's in a pickle, because
That's
the
right.
right-leaning governments have cut them off.
Yep.
And, so, but I think just addressing it originally to the Nobel Peace Committee, there's only 5 of them. Do we have an address? I know they have a website. I'm going to guess there's an address on the website. Somebody needs to look that up.
Yeah, we'll look it up by the time the letter's in good shape. We'll have it.
Mhm.
So, okay, so are we done with this then? I think we've decided what to do.
And can we give ourselves a deadline? People often work well. We have another meeting in 2 weeks, but I really think we should try
Oh,
and
no.
wrap
2
this
days.
up. Yeah,
2 days? 2 days is good, I think.
okay.
Mary,
that's-
what could you say? For a
Yeah, just
deadline.
everybody send it to me while you're hot. You know, Lenny and I will sift
Mary-
it through.
Mary
And,
Bricker will
yeah,
merge
I,
things.
I'm going to, I'll have to do it sometime this week. But let me get hold of Lenny. I'm on my other computer right now, getting hold of her to say we've got an assignment.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, great. Okay. I hope she can handle it. Okay, so that was the letter. So now I'll just get back to the regular agenda. And Gaza, Israel.
Right. Well, Odile always has things to tell us. Hopefully you've all been reading about this in your own newspapers and what have you. Yes,
Well,
Odile.
I sent you something brief yesterday or the day before regarding the fact that so many nations have recognized, and I forgot the exact number, it's like 22 nations, 122, have recognized Palestine now. And that should allow Palestine to have a dividend from the oil that's being pumped of Gaza. And if that was to happen, that would give a determination for Gaza regarding their own economy to try to restart it. And of course, there is going to be a massive cleaning that's going to happen, and it's going to take a long time because it's a complete mess. So anyway, and we don't know whether this peace agreement is going to hold because they're going to release the hostage tomorrow morning, and we don't know if it's going to hold after that. After the release, they're supposed to release Palestinian prisoner, quite a large number, but yeah, the people in charge. There was a very interesting man in the French Instagram from the French Jewish Peace Union that say you have to remember that all the leaders in Israel now were the one that collaborated with the Nazi. I'm saying that because his parents went to one of the concentration camp and didn't come back. And he said, we are not the same people. Some people were murdered in concentration camp and some collaborated with the Nazi. And that's mostly our leadership today. So whatever you think of trusting people in charge, maybe you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I did send you in the agenda there the link where the BBC looked at the wording of this ceasefire agreement and pointed out to you where a lot of detail is lacking and it's not clear, and so do we really want Tony Blair, who was a Prime Minister of England some time ago, to be in charge of some
No.
committee, so there's a lot of things, and just last
Especially
night,
when he's close with Trump.
right, so just last night, I read the BBC News. There are groups which I didn't appreciate. There are gangs, they call them gangs, and there's one that begins with a D, and they have a lot of, they've stolen, this is a gang in Gaza, and they have stolen ammunition and arms from the Hamas storage, okay, and they're not happy, and Hamas has got to keep them under control. So it's, and they could refuse to stand by the ceasefire.
That's right.
So it's Hamas that's agreed that they won't be shooting anybody, but there are apparently these other, you might call them rogue groups, cliques, so it's not clear. It's not going to be plain smooth sailing. And I heard just now on the news that those food distribution centers where people got shot for approaching them too quickly, they're all being dismantled already. Okay, now they say there are many lorries waiting to come in at the entry points, so there will be aid coming in, but it's really strange, I think, that those supposed humanitarian aid should be so quickly dismantled in a
That's because
ceasefire.
lots of people know that they're not really doing what they should be doing.
Right. I mean, one could interpret that in a variety of ways. But anyway, so
I'm going to send you something from, who is it?
right. Anyway, so I think we just all have to keep looking at, Al Jazeera is a good. They have an English language program that you can watch, and telling us, what, and then what is it? Starmer, the British Prime Minister currently, is going to Egypt, and so is Trump.
Yeah, I'm
Work
going
out
to.
some details. Yeah.
Okay, regarding the peace agreement, I will send you a 10-point article sent by Gershon Baskin, who's been a long time there working for peace with Palestinian and Israeli. So I will send it to you right after this meeting.
Right.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the lack of detail is very disturbing. I think we have to go on to the next topic because we spent so much time on the first.
Okay. Thank you.
So the next topic is the Ukraine-Russia war.
Right, and what I said in the agenda, again, I look every day what's going on there, and the Russians are bombing even more. I mean, they're attacking central Kyiv, and using drones and missiles, and quite a lot of people being killed. So whatever Putin and Trump said to each other in Alaska, it's not having any good effect at all.
Right, right.
So
Terrible.
again, I don't know if anybody has insight. I doubt it. You know, there are webinars out there that you can attend.
Yeah, what
Joseph
date is
Gerson has
that?
good ones.
What has Putin said? Do you know?
What
Why?
I don't know that he said very much. His actions are speaking, I suppose, by attacking extra stronger attacks than 2 weeks ago. More missiles, more drones, more deeper into Ukraine. So
More
that's
warnings also.
okay. Has he put some written warnings, Ellen Thomas?
Well, he said, you know, he's implying that whatever is done, he will do too, so.
Oh, right. He said, oh, he said
Regarding the nuclear tests,
there's
but
nuclear
but
testing.
he also felt that way about the other stuff too.
So we have 2 hands raised. Peggy, why don't you go first and then Gloria?
I just wanted to ask Ellen, and I feel like the only thing ordinary people out here can do at this time is throw whatever moral, whatever we can into opposing escalation, higher escalation to nuclear war. And you've addressed that, so thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Gloria?
All right. Since I'm in rhetoric, and that means talking to all the sides, not only our favored side, I think we might consider writing a letter to Melania Trump.
That's
She's in daily conversations,
With
so
Putin.
we read with Putin, and she speaks fluent Russian. And
Maybe that's
she
a good
claims to
idea.
have gotten some releases of hostages, or kidnapped children. Yeah, children. So I think we should address her, however hopeless that may be. And because of this new initiative, and it's the first time that here she is coming from one of the states bordering Ukraine. That's her nationality, fluent Russian speaker.
I think it's a great
She's
idea.
never come out before in public on anything about this whole war. Now suddenly she's surfacing as being in daily communications with Putin. And that may or may not be true. It may only be AI Putin. He may have her on hold just with an AI answering the phone. I don't know, but
Yeah, it's hard to know.
it's good to follow that, because
So do you want to do the first draft, Gloria?
I guess so. I think it's kind of a surreal project, but I can try to do a first draft.
Thank you.
No, it is very strange.
No, wait, this is a letter to Melania, and what are we saying to her?
Because she's in daily contact, we've been hearing by phone with Putin, and she has arranged, it is through her efforts that they have these releases of some of these children who had been either carried off into Russia or who were, I don't know, some kind of hostage situation. And she's taking a lot of credit and being in public. This is unusual for this woman. She's hidden in the shadows all of this time, not doing anything. And so I don't know the motive behind it, but at least she's now someone who's fluent, who's from that region. Her country, Slovenia, is very close to Ukraine. So she knows all about what's going on.
So should we ask her, so we praise her for what she's done and then ask her to do something about
Yes.
whispering in Putin's ear?
To try to soften all the sides so that they will all make some kind of concessions. It won't drag on and kill so many more people, something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Okay.
Gloria says you start by praising somebody.
Yeah, you always do that.
And then you give them the ask.
Right.
I'd like just to pitch in a little bit about AI and drones. Nancy Price sent a good article from the Epic that I just put in the chat. Basically, it talks about the drone development. And as you know, the Ukraine war is mostly about drones and their ability to be fast, their ability to block, their ability to change as needed. Well, the article was pointing out that one of the companies, actually others as well, but a big company in China controls more and makes more drones than any other business or any other industry in the world. And DJI is its name. 75% of all drones are made by them. And it does this for civilians as well as for war. We have in Ukraine a testing grounds for this kind of warfare. That's what one of the things that the article points out. And as you know, a lot of our money, let's say 57 cents of our each dollar we give to the government is going towards military development. It's an interesting and helpful article. I thought, I may be wrong, that we as the US decided to focus on a lot of drones because they're cheaper. And we decided that a long time ago. And sure enough, suddenly I'm hearing more about China taking this away, really developing them even more. When they make a decision, they can. They've got the people power to do this. So right now it feels like the drones that are going to Russia might be able to overcome the drones from the Ukrainians, and they come from us and they also come from NATO countries. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
Right.
Okay, Peggy?
Just quick, I love Gloria's idea and thank you. And I think if you can insert something to please address your husband and Putin and mention the TPNW and say, from drones to nuclear, and we have some, but we're giving you a whole lot. But that's what happens when you're creative. So thank you.
And again, the issue there is do we have an email address? We know there's a
Melania.
POTUS has a website. Does the Lady POTUS, does
I'm
the
sure she
First
does.
Lady
I'll
must
go
have,
search it.
First Lady must have a
Let's
website,
find
yes?
it. Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see.
So,
Hot dog. I think we're on a road. Let's move on.
I think it also would be good to print it out on Wilf letterhead and
mail it.
sign it and mail it and send it as a with return receipt requested, so that we can show that she received it.
Mhm.
Right.
And so who's writing this?
Glorious,
Gloria.
starting at least.
Starting?
I'm finding her addresses. I'm trying to put them into chat. Here's her email.
Does she?
Cool.
And,
Oh, really?
And I'm
Really?
also, finding her street address.
Well, that's the White House,
Yeah. But,
Pennsylvania.
there may be something more to it. You never know.
Does she have her own website too? Because sometimes
It does. I even looked at her own website.
Because sometimes you have to use a form on the website to write an email.
Yeah.
No, that was the real address I just gave you.
Okay, we think it goes to her, not some fake.
Oh, you never can tell who any email goes to when you get right down to it.
Right.
Let's
That's
see.
why
I think
would.
an elegant letter on letterhead.
Oh, it's
An
good.
elegant letter.
Yeah, and we can take a screenshot of it or scan it and fax it over as well. Use every means available to
Right.
make
Multiple
sure
ways.
that it gets there. Have somebody hand deliver it to the
Oh my.
And put
in,
it
in
on our
Washington,
website.
DC. Huh?
Put it on our website.
And put it on our website and post it to the news websites and send it to Democracy Now! And yeah, Right.
Good.
Oh my.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
I'm-
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't know who else was on Joseph Gerson's, is that a call
Yeah.
Thursday night? But Anne Wright spoke about all the flotillas that have gone to Gaza and are going. There's even another one going.
A third one, because the
Another-
Freedom Flotilla has been stopped.
I
There's a
remember
third
3.
Now they're doing another one. So
Oh,
but she was
yeah.
trying to get the people out of Israel. There were 400 that were arrested, or anyway. So it
And
was
most of them have been sent to their home countries. Yeah.
yeah, but there were 100 that had not been at the call on the call.
Well,
when
that's
they-
because the Freedom Flotilla was only just apprehended.
But anyway, it was
Yeah.
a really good call, and I thought it was well worthwhile. I really thought it was a good webinar.
And there is now, I registered and then I was busy working on something else. I missed it. So there is a recording that Joseph sent out in the last few hours, a link to a recording.
Okay.
Is
I'd
that
like
on
to-
MAPPA?
Well, the guy who was head of MAPPA was one of the people that
Yes,
spoke.
probably
but,
Mappa, yeah. Mhm.
but it was his thing that he did.
Oh,
Joseph.
yeah,
Joseph
but the
Mappa.
MAPPA's got a really good video library. You know,
Yeah.
they record things like we do.
Yeah.
Right. So no, it definitely, I saw, I rushed here from Santa Cruz. I rushed to an event at Stanford and I came here, but 3 seconds on my email, I could see Joseph had sent a link. Okay. So,
Good.
Okay,
I'll
so
look
now
for
we're
it.
on to diffuse nuclear war and statement, Cheryl.
yes, and I'm sorry, I thought it was too long. Shiley has done a little bit of editing to reduce it. And then, every time I think I'm close, something different happens. Now we have a ceasefire, but it does not take away the condemnation we have of what the Israelis done and the fact they've bombed 6 other countries. And my trouble, the trouble is, trying to get these things onto our website. Okay. Glenn Ruger is our IT person who does the actual work to put things on the website. But sometimes he has to wait for instructions from our ED, who is on vacation in Geneva right now. So that's part of my excuse for not having got the things actually posted yet. So besides the fact that, multiple things. So I am, because that's got Venezuela. So the last part of that thing is all about the bombing of the Venezuela supposed drug running ships. And, some of the points that were made earlier about for them, it's like they're, it's a war.
Yeah.
We are making a war against Venezuela, not just bombing a few ships. So anyway, I apologize for the slowness, but I'm trying to get to it. But then I mentioned in the agenda, there's a diffused nuclear war is the people who run Roots Action as well, and so they're doing these teach-ins, educational webinars, and there's one on the 16th. I gave you the register here. Strategies for nuclear disarmament. Okay, and I'm coming up now to the next section in the agenda. I have been to a lot of things recently about this. So shall I just go on to 5?
Sure. Just go on.
Yeah. So there's an organization. It's not the Arms Control Association. It's called the Center for Arms Control. And I went, and I'm on their email list. I went to their annual meeting, which was supposed to be in person, but because the government shut down, they said the building wasn't available. So they did it totally online, which meant I could actually attend. And the title was Getting Off the Collision Course, the Case Against Arms Racing. Okay, so it's this question of, if we try to modernize our ICBMs, then Russia will do the same. So this is what we call, our arms race. And they had some really expert speakers. These are not volunteers like I am. These are people who are paid to work on this kind of thing.
One was a man called Jesse Kirkpatrick, and he dealt with 3 ways AI might help nuclear weapons decisions to be made. Okay, the worry is if we let AI decide if the president should launch some ICBMs, that it might get it wrong. So why would they want to do it? Because it's very fast in making decisions, and you want to stay ahead of your enemy. He thinks the reliability and continuity is, you know, we're not sure how reliable this would be. But when you get to see the House of Dynamite, which I hope you all will see when it comes onto Netflix, and I saw it on Friday night, that shows you what happens when a whole bunch of humans are trying to make decisions. And so AI supposedly would have a whole bunch of things available to it. What has happened previously? What do we know about Russia and Korea and North Korea? And so it could be that AI, with all that information, would make better decisions than humans. But he says it's actually fragile. Okay.
It could go the wrong way, though.
Yes, I know. Well, this is the technical guardrails are needed, he said. So that was, there are a whole bunch of people worried about how AI might be used in the nuclear weapons attacking and being attacked scenario.
Oh my gosh.
So let's see. So another speaker was talking about war games, right? And apparently the Hoover Institution here at Stanford, where she is a fellow at the Hoover Institution, which is a very right-wing conservative headed by Condoleezza Rice, they run war games. They help people understand, what might happen by running war games. And what we know is the longer you let people work, or take it back, the longer they run these large language models of AI on trying to decide how a war between Russia and us, for example, should go, the worse it gets. Okay, you let them keep playing the game. It always ends up with escalation. It never ends up with diplomacy. The systems and the people running these games never come to the fact that maybe we'll get the diplomats to work on this. So that was another thing that was interesting. Somebody else who works at Stimson Center was worried about fake videos and disinformation, that the capabilities of imaging now, digital imaging and video digital manipulation, they can make it look like somebody said something that they didn't. They can fake the voices, and so these are other things that we need to be really worried about. So those were some of the things. And they had the former chair of the Ploughshares Fund. He was there. He was not optimistic at all about getting more arms control treaties. And he says we spent years building up what they call guardrails. This is what the treaties try to confine what countries are allowed to do, and what the diplomats can remind each other. Well, but we have this treaty, you can't do that. But we're losing those guardrails. We took ourselves out of the JCPOA and the ABM and all these treaties. So we've got the New START is the only one left. Okay. So it's another effort by similar people trying to do a follow-on to that. So he said it was 16 years ago. He thought President Obama had some good ideas about nuclear weapons treaties and technical guardrails. But the 16 years since we had him as a president, he thinks we've gone backwards. Okay. And he doesn't, he talked about what Biden didn't do. And I think I've said this before, so we've heard President Trump say we should denuclearize. Okay, I don't know if he really understands what that means. Okay, it's one of the longest words I've ever heard him use, right? Denuclearize. Okay, because usually his words are like four characters long, bad, big, things like that. Anyway, but and he said, "Oh, we don't need so many." He said he's understood that actually, you know, with 20 or 40 ICBMs, you can do an awful lot of damage. But he has not assembled a team to work on it. Okay, so that's why we don't see his words as actually leading to anything useful. Okay, if he really believes in that, he should adopt a team who he could give them a task force name or something. And he's not done that. And he's not surrounded by people who know about nuclear weapons. He's surrounded by people who know about business. And they're two different things, you know. So anyway, so those were some of the things I learned at that particular meeting. And then let's see, what was the other one? So yes, on Friday, I had a very busy day on Friday. I went to the city where Ploughshares Fund is headquartered. They had a get together to try to raise money. And so they had 3 people talking. And let's see if I can. So one of them is called Ben Rhodes, who's some kind of expert, and he spoke a lot about AI and nuclear weapons. And apparently on Friday, the New York Times, those of you who can get to the New York Times, had a very long article about AI and the risks if how it's used in the nuclear weapons enterprise. I got my husband to do me a PDF of that. I maybe will send it to you all.
Thank you.
So they said that this proliferation risk and the AI usage has been mostly ignored by the major media. So one of the speakers was very pleased that on Friday, while we all sat there in San Francisco, there was this New York Times article. So, and of course they're using, as Eileen keeps telling us, autonomy, you know, they are moving towards weapons that will make decisions that don't need any humans in the decision line. So Silicon Valley, right? So Silicon Valley, which is what I live in the middle of it, is full of these companies that are making an awful lot of money from weapons and the software and the palette. You've heard of Palantir, their recognition software, which is being used in Israel and places like that to track people down, to recognize people through looking at the videos.
It's not that good.
No, it's not. It's not good at all. Anyway, so that was, again, you know, the AI does not have a group that's so okay. They use CERN, where I did my PhD experiment over 50 years ago, as an example where nuclear physics and elementary particle physics was kind of given to a whole bunch of countries who cooperated with each other and agreed on certain things and what they would do, and it was all to be, and it was and is peaceful. There's no weapons work done at CERN, but that was governments, because governments had the purview over nuclear weapons and nuclear physics. But AI and the technology of you know, digital video and NVIDIA and all that is all private companies, or they're traded, but they are commercial companies. The government doesn't have its hand into the AI enterprise. So they are not getting together and agreeing to things that they could, because our government doesn't have any power over them. And so how you know, we need regulations. And so is our government interested in that? I'm not sure. So
yes, and that's what I'm talking about in my little section.
Anyway, so those are the kind of things they were talking about. You know, diplomacy. They notice we have allies in Hollywood now. Okay, so we've had some films, and I'll talk. I don't know when did I say I would talk about House of, well, I'm in this section, House of Dynamite. Okay, I went to see it. It was shown in Santa Cruz, where I needed to be on Saturday morning. So I went to see it. There were 17 people in the cinema that could have held 300 or something. I've redone just part of that flyer in the whole nuclear era, which I've sent to you all now. I printed out some. There's one column that specifically says, now you've seen the film, this is what you should worry about. So I handed those out to some of the 17 people who were in the cinema with me at the end, and I recommend you all see it. You will probably have to wait till it's on Netflix. It's, my heart was going bumpity bump, and I called it harrowing. It's a harrowing film because, it's actually one failure after another, essentially. And then she does not give you an answer at the end.
Oh, yeah.
The president is supposed to make his mind up what he's going to do, and he's got this, all about the football, right? This satchel that travels with the president, which has the codes to set off the ICBMs and the things that they would fire from bombers and the submarines. And you have this amazing scene where they're in a helicopter going somewhere, just him and this young man who's got the satchel, who keeps saying, well, here are your options, President. You could, you do this and you'll kill 40 million people. You do this and you'll kill 100 million people. You do this. I mean, it's just, and this is, she is representing what happens or would happen.
Oh my.
Yeah, so you really should go, and then you use it to warn people, so you don't know what the president actually decides. You have to make it up in your own mind. What do you think? I mean, he even, speaking of the First Lady, his wife is on safari in Africa. Okay. And so you see her in Africa she must be in Zambia, because they're one of the few places where you can do a walking safari. You don't have to be in a Jeep. And she's getting these phone calls from her president, her husband, who's in Washington, D.C., trying to decide what he's to do, with the fact that one ICBM has been fired at the US, and they don't know where it's come from. And it sounded to me like, he was looking for some advice from her. What should he do in this situation? I don't know if President Trump ever consults with Melania, but you see something, you think that's what's happening. I'm going to have to watch it again when it comes on Netflix, because it moves very fast. And but then what I was really pleased to see, because it's a lot of footage around the White House, true White House, there is a very quick panning in Lafayette Park, and you see the White House vigil, which has now been taken down, as you all heard.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad it's
so
there.
You can see the sign, and I said, oh, there's a White House vigil, but they didn't stay on it. But when you see it on Netflix, I believe you can pause films on Netflix.
Right.
You'll be able to see if I'm right. I do believe it.
Take a screenshot.
Take a screenshot. Anyway, those of you
Nice.
who want. Anyway,
but Eileen had some comments about the folder that I don't think you heard, Cheryl.
Yeah.
The
I didn't copy
Yes.
off the one that was in the agenda.
Yes.
Instead, I used the one that Alan Thomas used, and
That's the same one.
well, guess what? The one that Joan Goddard printed off has no problem with the title. There's no space between the title, the and whole. In the whole, in other words, there's a need for a
Extra sign. Oh, okay.
extra
Well, when
space.
that happened, because
But
this
when you
is the
print it off, it
I'm-
turns upside down.
No, you have to print it. I have to follow the instructions. Short edge. You print on both sides. Short edge.
I don't know what that means.
Well,
When
you look when you're in the print.
when you have a link,
You have to do
and
it.
you get the two items off on the side where you can view them on a printer, they're upright.
Yeah, and so you
And
have to.
my printer prints the second one upside down.
I know, because you're not choosing in your print settings. I've told you this before. We've been using this flyer for about 5 years now, and we keep changing just one column. We had an Oppenheimer film column. We
All
had
right,
a
go ahead. Okay, say it, because this is a year-old printer and I've used it before for front and back. So what's going on?
All right, so when you go into, I'm just going to go into Word here, and you say File, then you say Print, okay? And then you say Print both on both sides, and you can either flip the pages on the long edge, which is what you normally do, or you can flip the pages on the short edge.
I'll look at and see if I can find that.
Find that.
The
It's
top,
I do
top
not
goes
see
to
that on
bottom.
my printer when I.
it's not. It's the
it
Word
doesn't give
document.
me all of that. I have to go searching for it.
It's in Word. It's a Word thing as well. It's how Word works. Okay, so please, yes.
Okay, the
Can you
third
guys
thing-
talk about that after we've had?
The last thing, is it possible to get the ability to put
Yes,
your,
you can put your own. It's in Word.
I'm wondering if I can do it on the material that's sent to me before
Yes.
it's printed.
Yes, you can.
Oh, I sent it as a PDF, so
I sent it as a, but
well,
when I
I
sent
sent
it,
it as a, yeah, okay, so
I
if you
sent it
got
as
from
Word.
Cheryl, then it's a Word.
Okay,
But
I could
Cheryl,
not do
she's
that
right.
with Ellen's. I will use yours.
Yeah,
I'm
Cheryl,
fine.
there were problems with what you sent me, and I sent back the PDF, but I didn't send back the Word. I'll send you the Word.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and with the correction, the space thing, so,
Right.
okay.
Eileen, would you please go to the top of prop1.org, PROP number 1.org, the second line at the top is the flyer that we have now. Try printing that out and see if it works.
I'm sorry, where is it?
Prop1.org.
Just
Look
look
in
at
the
that
chat.
site.
That's Ellen's own website. Because we don't have Glenn Ruger available on a weekend, so we
Okay, I'll try that. I'll look for it.
use
It
Ellen
says
Thomas.
Wilf,
on,
it's
it's
the
fine.
third line, Wilf US Trifold Flyer, October 2025. You click on that and open it up and try printing that. And if you have a
Fine.
problem, get back in touch with me
Well,
tomorrow.
Right, we want
Okay,
all of you to do
thank you.
this, please. And you can't fiddle with anything because it's all, those 3 columns are all very tightly in.
No, it's beautiful except for those 3 things. It really is a beautiful,
well,
Can
beautifully
I
written.
pop in
Thank
here
you.
for a minute? It depends on what model of printer you're using, because if you're using an Epson, for example, certain models, it doesn't give you that option unless you say, when you're selecting things,
setting
that you need to use the,
short edge.
no, it doesn't give that to you in the major selections. You have to say that you want to print using the system printer.
System
Okay.
printer. Okay,
Well,
I'll try that.
Well, there's a whole bunch of settings which are below, and you just,
I have a brother and it's an
yeah, mine's a
upscale.
brother, and it knows very well how to do this. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get you
Anyway,
at
so please,
another
everybody
time.
else, do
Let's
this.
move on. Let's move on. I'm timer. You go.
And
Something else.
hand this out to people. Invite people to your house when it gets to be on
Yeah, just
Netflix,
like
and
last time.
have a
Yeah.
watch party. Yes.
I don't do TV.
So I'm done.
Okay, okay, I think the next item is actions in various coalitions.
Yeah.
People
well,
of Pentagon.
So I wrote to you all, asked you to write to your was it your senators?
It's people over Pentagon.
Yes, but they had, they an amendment had actually got to the point of being voted on. There are 4,000 amendments submitted to the NDAA, okay? So the fact that they got a Bernie Sanders one into where it was actually going to be voted on, which was to take 10% of the $890 billion and put it into dental health care. that was voted on and it was voted down. And I have somewhere I have those numbers. So you know, they this is, I believe this is the NDAA for next year. The fiscal year that starts on October the 1st. Well, of course, we're in a government shutdown, but apparently they're still working on, you know, on some things. They just won't vote on the current budgetary stuff, but they're actually voting on next year's. Okay, so warheads to windmills. So there's a steering committee of people who run big organizations like Code Pink and PSR and Pax Christi. So we're asked to look over the shoulder of warheads to windmills and see that they are behaving according to their mission and what have you. So we all met this last week. And unfortunately, because they don't have enough money, they had to let go their very good staff person called Andwin, who had done, you know, has kept them going, doing the website, doing all these projects about what, writing to CEOs to divest and things like that. But luckily, she's been taken up by the National Nuclear Age Peace Foundation. So she's now working for the Nuclear Age Peace Foundation, but she's still helping warheads to windmills. So we've got, you know, there will be more projects coming out of these organizations. And then, of course, we are co-sponsoring this World Beyond War conference that happens October the 24th to the 26th. That's in the agenda. And I read somewhere that if you gave them money, we gave them $150, there were extra benefits. So I have in my drafts a start of a letter to Greta to ask her, what are our benefits that we, you know, that the WILF gets for having given you $150? All right. So that's one of the many things that I've got in my list, my to-do list.
I
Okay.
could ask them.
Sorry,
Okay.
Odile,
I am on the board, so I could ask them.
if you want, you say WILF's in US sent $150.
Yes.
We understand. We'd like to know now.
Well, it's on the website, what you get, I thought, but I'll have to look. I
We
don't
got
know.
2 free tickets, but there was
Right.
something else.
Yeah, there's
It
some other.
costs $5 anyway. You can go there and join it's an online only for $5. So please, there's a lot of interesting talks, a lot of things that we will learn.
You'll find out in a couple of weeks, Cheryl,
I'll find out what.
But I can
what the
ask
perks
Greta.
are. You'll be there.
I can ask
Oh,
Greta.
no, it's online. It's only virtual.
Yes, no, but I thought somehow or other, you know, they have a much larger email list than we do. Okay, so I was hoping that maybe we would get some extra publicity for WILF as part of our benefits, but that's what I
Well,
thought.
you are listed on the website.
Yeah, we're
Well,
listening.
Odile, you can ask about that.
Yes, I will ask.
I thought maybe they were going to do something else for us. That's all. So,
Okay, so the next item is interacting with
Interactive.
media, Gloria.
Yes.
but I do want to
Just-
say just ahead
Never
that
mind.
we have this new campaign, Peace is not, okay? It was designed by our executive director and some other people without, to my knowledge, any input from Disarm, okay? But they've come up with a very good campaign with very good graphics. And I went to the all branch meeting where they explained how to use it. I know some of you were there, and I've given you and it's actually on the homepage of WILF US as an extra news item. So you need all to go there and learn about the things they've produced and how you can use social media. And for my sake, we've got the No Kings next 18th of October. Here in Palo Alto, we're having a democracy fair. WILF, my branch WILF, will have a table, and we will be, you know, to try to get people to understand that we need diplomacy. So we are going to use all these flyers on our table. So those of you who are going to do something for No Kings next Saturday, consider using these pieces not. I mean, it's very well done. And some of there's some video, if you don't want to just still photos. So,
I just put the link in the chat.
right. So but then also those of you on the Wilf branches have got emails from Shelby with links to various things. So you don't, anyway, so so now Gloria, you can, yeah, Gloria will take over now. I just wanted to make sure we all know about this campaign and use it. Thank you.
Okay, well, I know we have our grand and global views of things and big things, but I think we need not to lose track of the militarization and treating Americans as the enemy, which is ongoing and getting worse, including prohibiting the Chicago press in instances which are egregious from covering what's happening. And I know some of this is probably happening in Portland. I could not find any instances in Washington, D.C., but it is so bad in Chicago that all of the press associations are suing. They are suing what is going on, the total infringement of freedom of speech and the press in Chicago. They are beating people, they are throwing them to the ground who are labeled clearly as being press people. They're spraying them, they're pepperballing them. It's a terrible situation there, and it is not being covered with enough detail in the national news or in BBC or anywhere else. It isn't being covered enough to really realize what this practice ground that he's setting up for his military dictatorship is. And while we're doing our big global things, we better pay attention, folks, because you may live in a nice little town where it's not happening. But Chicago is the heart of the resistance to Trump. He hates it from the depths of his heart. He hates Chicago. And that's because they can be counted on not to back down and not to buckle under. I had a talk on the phone with a reporter friend of mine. His name is Joseph Peak, and he works for the Northwest Indiana Times. He reports on industry and business things, but he's also a big award winner in the Midwest of the Peter Lisagor Award. And he told me about these suits that are being leveraged against the National Guard and against ICE by the Chicago Press Corps. And I think that it would be good if Wilf, did I have something up here? Oh yeah, you can write to the head of the National Guard, Air Force General Stephen S. Nordhaus. And here is his mailing address. It's in the chat, so be sure to save chat. We can also, I don't know, I'm almost afraid to tell people to do it because who knows? You could write to the head of ICE and tell them that you don't approve. If you have the guts, you can write to the head of ICE. I can give you that address if you have the guts to do it. Because that's what it's coming down to. And while we're talking about things over here and things over there, these places are being turned into a barracks, and terrible things are happening to people that are not getting reported. There are abuses the other way, like the woman who rammed one of the ICE cars, and they made a lot of that on Fox. You better believe they made a lot of that. So any little thing that happens, or even bigger thing that happens from the protest side, is going to get plenty of coverage and in depth and just. And I was horrified yesterday in the Star here in Tucson. They didn't talk about any of the military stuff going on in Chicago. And it was a misleading headline. It said the big mistake happening in Chicago. And I thought, oh, are they going to talk about the military? No, it was about some women who'd been bonked on the head by some annoying person who bonks women on the head in the subway. And why can't Chicago control people like that? That was what we got in the Star. The only reporting on Chicago in our Arizona Star was that editorial. My professor who writes for you, and you've seen it, God, what does he call it? You might wish to know. I'm not going to mention his name here, but he said this is just because he's setting up the military dictatorship with these troops. And it's important to go and be strategic, to try to make signs like no federal troops in our US cities. I haven't seen any of those. It's like it's a Chicago thing, we don't care, or it's a Portland thing, we don't care. Well, he's doing it here and there, counting on that people won't care because they've got their pre-existing issues that they're locked into and they can't be distracted from while all this is taking place. And it's not taking place quietly, it's just taking place in a media vacuum. And that's the most horrifying thing to me as a person in communications. I'm going around and looking at the LA coverage. And I also did make contact with the head of the Los Angeles Wilf branch, talked to her on the phone. None of them showed up tonight, but I got an email from all the ones in Portland who talked regularly, I guess, to Kirby. And they sent me an article in the Oregonian. Unfortunately, it had a firewall and I couldn't get through it. But it was about, the outrageous construction of fantasy pictures of these places. This is all rhetorical. All you have to do is keep saying, it's a hellhole, it's a war zone, it's a hellhole, it's the worst city on earth. And whether it's true or not, people will believe it. And then, well, yeah, maybe they do need troops in there. I guess they need troops. This is horrifying.
So,
and it's not local. That's my
no.
problem I have with our discussions is too often these things that are growing and they're sprouting into other cities, but Chicago is the main enemy because that is the most solid anti-Trump place you can imagine. And I think he would be happy to nuke Chicago, actually. No, really, I'm not exaggerating. So
just to say that, we've had some e-alerts from our executive director and presidents about how one can prepare to deal with ICE in your neighborhood and things that might be being done to journalists and what have you. So please do read those things that our president sent about 3 weeks ago. And I do believe, based on the instructions that we're getting here in Palo Alto for our No Kings event, where we're going to
could I interrupt a minute? I need to finish something before we go off the topic.
Well, no, they're going to be having signs about the very stuff you're talking about. They're asking you to have signs about ICE, about federal troops. So
name the cities too, because
but I'm just saying that
places that are being occupied.
So they are the instructions we're getting here in Palo Alto from our Mobilize, Indivisible, what have you, are to focus on these things. So
it's not just these things. These are specific places. We
and
always get into the vague abstractions, and we need to send letters to support the Wilf women in Portland, in Chicago, because I've talked to them on the phone, the ones in Chicago. They're under one of them said, we feel like frogs in a pan that is having the water heated. That's one of the Wilf women in Chicago told me that. So I think the very least those of us that are in calm communities with none of that going on can do is to try to send them. I gave addresses. I sent it out during this week of the two co-chairs in Chicago. I can also find out, and you can contact the ones in LA and in Portland. Now, they don't seem to be as much affected because of the sprawl of the Western cities. Because of that sprawl, the woman, Grace Abbott in LA, said that she had not been on top of it the way that is going on in Chicago, but certainly she's going to get back to me and we're going to talk about how we can coordinate between cities. And please, please don't consider this some one little branch's problem. I just can't take it anymore.
Peggy.
Well, I was waiting. You conveyed, you powerfully conveyed the situation, Gloria. But I was waiting for something that we can do from our branches. That what you suggested was to send a postcard of solidarity to
Yeah.
WILF people in Chicago.
And
Now,
in
is that
the
the
chat,
most that can
No,
be
no, look
done?
over here in the chat. You can write. I gave you the address right here in chat, right to the head of the National Guard. Here he is, Stephen S. Nordhaus,
You're
11.
saying right to the National Guard.
Yes, protests to the National Guard that we feel that they should not be going into cities over the objections of the mayors and the governors of those states and cities. We can do that. We can flood them with mail, and I think we should be, because
Okay.
they're going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get better. And while we're focusing on other things, this can go on because it's a very funny thing about communications technology. You get the most news about your own local place, and whatever's in another city seems like, oh, it's not so bad. I see just as bad happening here. But the farther away it is, the less real, I don't know how to put it, the less coverage you're getting. And when I'm watching all this stuff minute by minute on I watch Chicago TV stations, WBBM and Channel 9,
Well,
WGN.
let me interrupt. I think we got some very good advice and actions on Venezuela, on the Nobel, on writing to Melania, on the action about the nuclear film. And I hear you, Gloria. I think that this is urgent. I, Peggy, have no concrete action to propose. And you suggested
going
that
to
let me
Chicago.
finish. You talk a lot, Gloria.
All right.
The suggestion that I have seen is that we individually write to the commander of the National Guard. Is that the most that anyone can think of that we can do to address the rising threat, not threat, but reality of the use of troops on the streets of our cities, some where it has already begun?
We can write to the other Pentagon people who are possibly involved in helping with this, supporting it. I don't know. We'd have to assemble a list of people. I didn't have time this week. I did as much as I could. I was busy interacting with people in Chicago and in these other cities, trying to pull some stuff from them. And I have only partially gotten together with the ones in LA. She wants to get together next month. I'm going to LA. So maybe we can talk about coordinating there. I think that you need to know who's in charge. The only one I got right now is the head of the National Guard. We could put out a statement from Will to the head of ICE. I just didn't have time to put it up. I'm sure there's an address for him. Why don't we make a formal official protest from Will to the head of ICE? What's stopping us?
People,
And Boston is having a presentation that includes two speakers who have been very instrumental in vigiling in front of the ICE headquarters in this area called Burlington, northwest of Boston. They will be speaking at one of our Boston, we're having a talk with Boston Wolf here on the October 22nd. And I will put that in the chat after I finish up my little talk on basically AI.
so,
ICE.
so, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I get a lot of emails from other organizations asking me to sign petitions. And some of them are to do with ICE and stuff. I don't have one in front of me right now.
Yeah,
And they'll tell you they've got 20,000, public citizen will get 20,000 signatures on these things, which they send to these people. It doesn't seem to, what effect it has, we don't know. But so signing other organizations' petitions who have much bigger reach than we do, I think is another thing we could all do from our from our house, you know, without having to go out. So please look in your email for petitions that are coming. Diane, have you seen any?
Oh, I've been signing lots of different things. I'm sorry, I don't remember per se.
Action Network. The Action Network has a lot of stuff. Roots Action, Progressive Hub.
I've been signing them too.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay, but also write to the chairs of WILF in Chicago, because they're really feeling this. And I know that some of them live right in the city. They're not out in the suburbs.
mhm.
Hmm.
But did they? But I don't think they came to that all WILF meeting, all branch WILF meeting. I mean, some of these branches are so quiet. You know, I don't know.
I've been in touch with Carone Little, and her mother died about a month ago, and she's been going back and forth to Scotland where her mother died. And
Mhm,
so that is why she's been a bit quiet.
okay.
I think her mother died like September the 9th. So she's going through all of that, plus grieving her mother.
All right, so we now got some more stuff. Gloria's put some things in the chat, so save the chat several times during this meeting so you have this information.
So I think Eileen's been showing us that its time is over.
Yeah, about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you've done it several times. So Eileen, I think you're next.
You can follow along with me by just looking at the chat. Why won't it go into, I did it.
You have to
and
say
now it's
send.
not letting me,
Say send.
well, that little arrow is send.
Mhm.
Huh, it won't let me send it now. Okay, this is my story. On September 29th, California, thank you, Governor Gavin Newsom
Newsom.
signed the Senate Bill SB 53. He did not sign it last year, but this year he did after the House and the Senate put it through. And it's called the Transparency and Frontier Artificial Intelligence Act, TFAIA. And this is the first of its kind in the US, specifically targeting the safety and transparency of advanced AI systems. Its key provisions: transparency requirements. The law mandates that large AI developers disclose safety frameworks and practices related to their AI models. 2, incident reporting. Companies must report significant AI-related safety incidents in their state. 3, whistleblower protections. The law includes protections for individuals who report safety concerns within AI companies. And 4th, focus on catastrophic risks. In other words, it defines catastrophic risks as incidents that could cause serious harm to financially to somebody, requiring developers to assess and mitigate these risks.
Is
This
this
is
a
mostly for
California?
civilian. However, I think it translate into the weapons industry, which is what the European countries have been trying to do, and in some cases have accomplished. If other states could do what they passed, and I plan on talking to my legislators and trying to have one of these based on their write-up, it's good, to see if my state of Massachusetts could do this, because there's a lot of AI developers in MIT. Hello. Boy, they paid well by the government. All I'm trying to say is this is a way to possibly influence the transparency in the weapons industry. I may be on hopium. I know that. But if we've got a standard in each state, it's doable, I think. That influence, as I said, is working in Europe slowly. So why not give it a try for us? And I have never talked with a legislator about both writing a bill and presenting it, and I need help. So this is actually a plea to get some help. I do, and I voted for her. I rallied for her to be the mayor of my city, the new person in as a representative for my particular area of Massachusetts, my House rep, in other words. I know well, and I think I can, influence her. She's brand new, well, now 9 months old, but she's not new to politics at all. Nevertheless, I'm a little nervous about sitting down with her and talking about a bill. I'm not an expert on tech. I just know that I know enough to talk sense, and that's what I have. I have common sense. So there you have it.
Right.
Excuse me, I keep getting confused between state bills and federal bills. So
I'm
when you
talking
say
about
your rep,
state
this
bills.
is she's a state representative for you.
Yes, I
Yes.
couldn't even talk to my rep for Congress in DC. I
Mhm.
hate him too much.
Auchenschloss or something
Yeah, Big auction clause.
So, so I think if you did a Google search, you would find that there are other organizations who are working on similar things. Don't feel you're the first person to think about trying to do this in Massachusetts because California did it. So
Well,
use
you're
the
the first
internet,
to pass it, Cheryl, and
right? But
I've
there
been
are
trying to connect with Mass Peace Action people that allegedly have an AI, but they never respond. So
right.
I feel like I'm going it alone.
But you shouldn't, because just do a search with Google or whatever your favorite search engine is for searching the web and pose a really good question and you will get an answer. Oh yes, Vermont's doing this and Kansas has done that. And just use, that's how I find out a lot of things. I ask Google to search for me and they'll come up with stuff.
But I
Because
need the
you,
person, I need people's support. I can't do this alone.
right, so you have branch members. You have quite a big branch there in
And I'm
Boston.
the only one who's into AI.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so Mary and then Peggy, and I just wanted to say, Eileen, I think you do excellently just by yourself. You know what you know more than almost anybody, most people, and that's good. And I think you could do it. So anyway,
Thank
uh,
you. Thank you for
absolutely,
doing that.
yeah. But I
Well,
think
thanks for
okay,
the vote of confidence. Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Okay, Mary and then Peggy.
I just wanted to say something about AI, if I might, and invite people to a program that's going on, if you're interested. I'm rather new to it. I took one of those little old lady courses this summer at the university on it. And I've gotten quite involved in it. And I just want to say that I think all of this has to be put in context of the revolutionary process that we're going through. I mean, we don't like to think that way. We don't think that way, but we are already in a revolutionary process. The revolution happens when you change the mode of production and distribution of the goods and services people need and the excess that extends from that. That's revolution. And once we introduced the chip into the economy, we entered a period of revolution. So we're in it now. We're in the middle of it. So one of the, everybody's kind of working in the dark. I mean, the ruling class has many factions also, and they don't know what to do. I mean, they're all vying right now for primacy on this, and we have certain elements of them that are capturing, like Planeteer. They're capturing all of the data that's available in the United States, in England, in Europe, so that they control the distribution of this. This is revolutionary action by the ruling class. We got to get sharp too. We got to admit that this is where we are now, and get serious. So there's a seminar going on next week. It's called AI for Revolutionaries, right?
Okay.
So that means us. And to whom should I send the link for this? It's being
All of us.
sponsored by a committee of the League of Revolutionaries for a New America, and another one of my favorite organizations. So if you tell me to whom I should send
Oh,
this
is
for
it-
distribution, I'll
To
send the
all of
link
us.
as soon as I find.
Can it be sent? Can you put it in the chat? Is it a single?
Well, I have to look
Well,
for it. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
no, I can't put it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So send it to Disarm Chair, no dots or
Well,
anything.
she could just send to the disarm list, disarm discussion. I think
well,
that
I
would,
don't think I can do that. I think I have to be a member of it to.
Yes, she may not be on the list. So she
oh,
sends it to us, disarmchair@wilfus.org. Because, you know, I'm a great believer
Was
in,
that, Mary, was that you that was saying that you can't because I just sent you an invitation
Oh,
to
okay,
be on the list.
okay,
So,
great.
yeah.
But in the
please,
meantime, also, I'll send the same, this letter that I'm gonna try to do with Lenny. I'll send that also to disarmchair@wilf.org, and that way you'll all get it, right?
Wilf
Wolf
US.
US.
No, that comes to three of us, okay?
Okay.
Myself, Diane, and Ellen, because I don't like it when somebody just sends me a link to something and don't give me the context and what we should be doing. So that's why I'd rather some of this information flows through the chairs, so then we can create another email that says what this is about and
Right.
what we want
So-
you to do.
So who are our esteemed chairs at the moment? Diane?
Myself and Ellen. So,
Okay,
but you just say disarm chair and the special software at Wilf US
right.
forwards it to us three.
But
Okay.
it doesn't say disarm chairs. It's
Disarm
singular.
chair, singular.
Singular.
Right.
It's like you can write to the president of Wilf US by saying
Yes,
president.
we're all a collective. Okay.
So anyway, so yes, please send us what how to register, what's
Right.
it about? Is it just a one-off or is it a whole series of?
Well, there's a study, there's a study group, and they've produced this.
Mary,
revolutionary.
just Cheryl, may I say that you can write to the discussion group. You don't have to go through disarm chair. So once you're signed up there, then you can just send an email to the whole group.
But
Okay.
you need to explain what it's about. This is a result of conversations we had in this meeting. We have
Right.
67 people on our list, of
Right.
which about 25 sometimes come to these meetings, and about 12 of us consistently come to these meetings. So
Right.
you're not just writing to the 12 people you see on your screen right now. You're
Right.
writing to 67 people. And if you want
Okay.
them to get involved, you have to do some explanation, please.
Okay.
Okay, Peggy,
Well,
and
I'm not sure I would
just
want
want
a
to
bunch of
quickly
people to
say,
get on who haven't had.
I really needed to hang up a long time ago, but I'm glad I stayed on, Eileen, because what you raised is really important. And thank you, Diane, for reinforcing her. Eileen, you do a wonderful job. I would just suggest you get in touch with MAPA if you want somebody in the Boston area to maybe help you follow up. And I'm
That's
going
my
to follow up.
problem. Mapa's not responding. I've been trying to hook up with their AI. I don't know how active or inactive they are, but they didn't respond.
Write to Jonathan King. Write to Jonathan King
No, he
explicitly.
doesn't respond at all.
All right.
I vigil with one of the people on the board.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
I'll keep
I'll
on
try
trying.
to, I think following up using the legislation they used in California, and I will try to introduce it to a state senator here in Atlanta. I don't know how well I'll do, but I'm inspired by your example, and thank you. And I do have to go now.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a
Peggy.
great meeting.
Bye-bye, Peggy.
Bye, good night.
Later, kiddo.
oh,
And
yeah,
the time is, we're at 9:20. I think we're supposed to finish in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, well,
we'll try.
we've not
Okay.
got much left because I
Odile?
deleted a whole bunch of stuff for this meeting.
Yeah.
And Nancy,
Odile, unmute. You have your hand raised.
no,
Unmute.
I'm sorry, it was a while ago. Oh, she was speaking about revolution. And revolution is always from the ground up. If it's from the top down, it's not revolution. It's fascism.
Ooh,
Okay, that,
ooh.
yeah. Okay, so there's 6 minutes allotted to work to deal with Earth Democracy, MEPJAC, Global Women for Peace against NATO. Anybody have
Nancy's on
anything to
here.
say on those 3 items?
I have
Nancy-
nothing on MEPJAC.
Yeah, and Nancy isn't here. I asked her to please try to come. She has sent us a few things. Read what Nancy sent to the disarm list. Okay.
And there is a Guam meeting coming up.
Yes,
And
when's that?
is when? Oh, the 25th October. So
What
that's
meeting?
Global Women United for Peace against NATO.
Now, unfortunately, because of they're all in Europe, it often is like 3 a.m. my time. I don't tend to go to those. So that those of you on the East Coast, you have a better timing on some of
Well,
those
this is
meetings.
at 11 o'clock in the morning, so it would be 8 o'clock on the coast, Pacific time. So,
Okay. All right.
okay, so now we can get on to get institutions and individuals to divest.
Right. So Odile and I have not done
No,
anything
I
recently.
have not done
It's
anything right
it's
now.
it's on my do list.
I will do it by next time.
Right.
Okay, then
We
we
need
have,
to, Odile, you need to look at what Wolf International is suggesting we do.
Yes,
Please. They've
I
got
will.
a toolkit which we can use.
okay, so then the next thing is treasurer, and then after that is the next meeting, which is the last one in October. So
No change for the treasurer.
any other business? I think we've covered it all, but if somebody has something they haven't said, now's the time to do it.
Right. So, so
Nobody.
please, yes, do go out, do the 18th of October. They want millions of us on the streets.
Yes, I know.
And so,
We have to
the-
make
the-
signs.
yeah, the weather is not too bad anywhere
I'm
yet.
making a triple sign up and down the what peace is
Peace is not.
not.
Right.
I'm going to be doing this
This,
on,
right,
Oh, that's great.
it's going to be up and down. So the answer is next. And I'm going to have a sign that will be coming and going. It's going to give messages, basically.
See, yeah. Right. It's a Saturday. Hopefully, working people can get out. What we're doing here, they've decided to have us intersections. They've chosen 16 intersections along an 8-mile stretch. Previously, they had us strung out, but now they've asked us to concentrate at intersections. So visibility, it looks like more people, which it is more people if you're at an intersection of two, El Camino and then anyway. So look in your local peace and justice centers and just look up Women's March, because they're helping, and Indivisible and Mobilize. They're all doing things to
No kings.
it's called No Kings, but
have-
it's
we
a
have
wide range of topics
Mhm.
can be addressed. So that's, as I say, we're having a democracy fair. The losing of our democracy is what we all should really be worrying about, which is what is what's happening. Freedom of speech is, and all those things that the Constitution guarantees us are being whittled
Taken
away.
away.
Okay, could I tell you something? I just put in the
Yes, thank you.
chat the addresses of the 2 Chicago co-chairs. Reverend Zenobia Soul, oops, I spelled her name. It's Sowell of the Chicago Mennonite. I really got a lot of typos in there. It's just blocks from Hull House. And it's really horrific because this is where all of that helping immigrants began with the Illinois Immigrants Protective Leagues in 1909. And Now they're swooping around in Pilsen, this bordering neighborhood, to Hull House, the Hull House. They're swooping around it and abducting people. So if you want to send cards of support to our sister Wilfers there in Chicago, one of whom had a recent death, her mother, I think, and I'll read Mennonite. I thought that was really bad. Mennonite.
So is it emails or phone or mailing? Email?
I have emails for both of them. If we stay on long enough, I'll just get them for you.
Yes, put
Yeah,
them in the
okay.
chat for us. Thank you.
Okay.
The,
But you can send them in an email. I got them in an email too.
Okay, so it's Carol. And here's is
Right.
via the
I mean,
Chicago.
I read about an apartment building where the ice came in and they
Yeah,
dragged
they had Black
children,
Hawk helicopters. They had naked children.
naked
They
children, because it was at nighttime and
tied with their hands, little
Disgusting.
children.
Absolutely deplorable.
That were not immigrants. A lot of
Right.
95% of those people were Black in that building. Most of them
Right.
were not immigrants. It's a big lie, even bigger.
Well, they've also moved into Memphis, which is a majority Black city.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just want you to know that I just heard from Lenny on the other computer. So they're meeting tomorrow night. I'm a member of that group also, so I'll be on that, and we'll get started on the letter.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. She agrees that something should be
Oh
done.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm. Excellent. Thank you. Our issue committees, we meet once a month and the program committee. And so we're, there is some formal opportunity for cross-fertilization and working together. But we really should not wait for those once a month meetings. If if I see a good thing, like Earth Democracy, I feel is closest to us in what we're doing. And, so that's why I try to get Nancy involved and send her things and what have you. So please, if you think of something and the issue committee that is in charge of that topic, then let's talk to them, write to them, see if there's a small project we can do.
Well, we get this one. We'll do this one.
Is one. We've got
Yep.
one here, which is, reacting to the Peace Prize being given to a woman. We don't think, it's unfortunate she's a woman, but we don't have to go there. What she's done is what she's done. Okay. Anyway,
That's right.
so
Okay.
is everybody saved the chat now? And
Yeah, and please join us on the 22nd for the talks by actually a minister and a rabbi who have been very much in front of ICE headquarters for several months. And we get 300 to 700 people showing up every week.
That's amazing. That's really.
It is. They really, this UU minister times, I think it was 31 years in Bedford, has a history of being an activist, actually an organizer. He's got that in his resume. Actually, he's had many, many talents, many lives, different jobs.
Right. So just to say, this issue of public opinion and showing it by getting out on the streets and standing in front of federal buildings or what have you. I believe someone, I can't remember who it was probably on NPR, because that's the radio station I listen to for news. If you read carefully what Trump said about why he was pushing on getting this ceasefire, he felt the pressure that something needed to be done. Did anybody else hear that?
And Netanyahu's probably in the same boat.
Right. And so a lot of Jewish people, Israeli people in Israel were putting pressure on Netanyahu. That's really the only reason that this ceasefire agreement was reached, was
right.
public opinion pressure. So apparently Trump, is on occasion influenced by our pressure. So let's keep at it and on different topics, so that you know, we need millions of people to get out there on the 18th.
Right.
So thank you, everybody, for anything you can
you.
do.
Hey, guess what? It's 9:32.
Yes.
Yay.
So Diane has closed so let's say, so when Shiley listens to this, she knows that at 6:32 Pacific time we adjourned.
Very
And
Yeah.
good.
Thanks, Shiley.
Okay.
Right.
And the next
Thank
meeting
you.
is the 26th of October, by which
2
time,
weeks. 2
yeah,
weeks.
2 weeks, that you've
Yeah.
we'll hear about all the things you did on October the 18th and so
All
on and
that
so
good
forth.
trouble we're going to get in too.
Good trouble.
Good
Ciao.
trouble. Good trouble.